Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Powertime practice here on Saturday, November 28th, 2020. My name is Sutrita. For those of you who don't know me, wishing you all a very warm welcome on this powerful time to come together where we can honor Lord Shiva, that energy inside of us that creates the ideas to experience enlightenment. So we need to be feeling enlightened. We need to be feeling uplifted, especially during these COVID times. So those of you who are new to Dr. Pillai's teachings, this is a very powerful time of the year to come together and honor us or participate in a celebration to honor the light within us and also the light that is coming into the earth plane. So there is a cosmic event that is happening, and it is called Kartike Deepam. And Deepam means the light. And so this is a battle of the dark and the light forces that are going on in the realms that are above us, as it is in heaven, so it is here on the earth plane. So we may have experienced some kind of inner turmoil that is going on that's kind of beyond COVID. We're kind of getting used to it. It's been 8-10 months since we have been having a normal way of living, whatever that is. We're getting into a new normal reset. So what happens during this time period, during this time of the year, when it lands on a full moon, this Kartike full moon, Deepam is light and Kartike is the month, and it also is related to Lord Muruga, who we celebrated Skandashasi most recently, the 6 nights of Lord Muruga battling the dark forces within us as well as around us. So with Dr. Pillai's grace and blessings, we're activating our chakras, we're enlivening our third eye. We want to feel uplifted. Our chakras are psycho-spiritual centers that are in our subtle body, our energy body, that align with our spine. So we want to raise the Kundalini energy, that goddess energy, up to the third eye, where we can tap into realms that are of the spiritual realms of that are not available to perhaps the human eye. So the third eye is all about the eye of wisdom. So what is wisdom? Well, we have to experience it. So perhaps you've stumbled across these teachings, and then people who have been around for a while, they know that every year something new comes into their consciousness about their spiritual journey here as human beings. So we are these spiritual beings, but we're having these human experiences, as the saying goes, and we want to make sure that we are full of joy and happiness no matter what. It's not something that we aspire to or can attain, and then it will be it. We wear the crown of happiness. We have to own that kingdom within, or own that queendom within. So what is this Kartikeya Deepam? The scriptures say that once 2 Hindu deities, Vishnu and Lord Brahma, so Vishnu is the god who is the god of sustenance, maintenance, protection, and he helps us to go after whatever it is that we need here on the earth plane with his grace and ease. And that energy is inside of us. So these deities are also archetypes. Their archetype means that it has a form that we can be familiar with or familiarize ourselves with it. And then it has qualities or characteristics such that when we understand that that consciousness is part of our evolution, as it is above, again, so it is here on the earth plane. We're all gods, we're all goddesses, but we have to uncover it. So we're having this human experience, understanding that what it is that we truly, truly want to do is to experience our highest self, the truth of who we are, which is to realize God or goddess consciousness, nature, universal intelligence, wisdom. It's all pretty much the same. So Vishnu, this protector god, and Lord Brahma, the creator god, started fighting over the issue of supremacy. Each claimed that he was superior to the other. As the fighting reached alarming proportions, the other gods became worried and went to Lord Shiva, who is the the highest manifestation. It's like the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. In Christianity, there's the Trinity. So Shiva is that energy that destroys. He's just fire. He's light. He's like thousands, millions of suns, light and intelligence. So that has to have a filter to come into the earth plane. Otherwise, we would be barbecue. So we want to go. They went to Lord Shiva and they said, please end this fighting between Lord Vishnu and Lord Brahma. So Shiva appeared before them in the shape of a huge pillar of light, Jyotir Lingam. So Jyoti or Jyotir means light. It's a divine light. And Lingam is the manifestation of Lord Shiva on the earth plane. And it's like an egg shape, or it can be a pyramidal shape. It's fire. So fire looks like a triangle or pyramid. It goes up. And even if you turn it on its side, the flame will go up. So it's always reaching for the heavens. And in every culture, every tradition, every religion, pretty much, that when you light a lamp, you're lighting it in honor of the spiritual realm. So then he challenged Vishnu and Brahma to find the beginning and the end of the fire pillar. So Lord Shiva comes and he says, all right, you two, quit fighting. Let's give you a competition. So you can find out that you're really, neither of you are greater. I am the greatest, but he's not going to say it that way. He's going to give them a competition. So they're all up for it because they're feisty. So the one who succeeded in doing so would be considered superior. So the two gods agreed, Lord Vishnu, Lord Brahma. Immediately, Lord Vishnu turned into a boar and dug deep into the earth to find the end of the fire pillar. But he failed to find it and admitted his defeat to Shiva. Meanwhile, Brahma turned into a swan and flew upwards to find the beginning of the fire. But he too failed to find the beginning of the fire pillar. And he failed in finding it, but then he lied. He said that he did find it. Big lie. Oops, big mistake. However, Lord Shiva realized that Lord Brahma was lying and he cursed him. In this manner, Shiva proved that he was supreme and that the other two gods were inferior to him. He then appeared in the form of the hill in the Tiruvannamalai region. So this is where the hill is called Mount Arunachala, mountain. It's a mountain. And so he became, Aruna means fire, divine light, and Achala means mountain. So this Shiva became this mountain of fire and divine fire and divine light. That when you go near it, you will experience enlightenment. You will have moments of clarity, or perhaps the whole time as you go around it. It takes about 3 to 4 hours, depending on how quickly you travel or how many people there are to navigate, because about 1 million people go there during this Kartike Deepam. We'll get to that. So as a matter of fact, the names Tiruvannamalai and Arunachala mean holy fire hill. Later on, the temple was built on the hill to commemorate the event. Kartike Deepam 2020 is celebrated with great fanfare here. So another legend links this festival to the deity Muruga, who's the son of Lord Shiva and the goddess Parvati. So the legend has it that Muruga was born from 6 sparks of fire that emanated from Shiva's third eye. These 6 sparks turned into 6 babies who were cared for by the 6 Kartike stars. So the Kritika star or Pleiades star in Shravana Pogai, a lake. So these 6 babies were merged into one baby by the goddess Parvati on this day. So that's why Muruga has 6 faces and he's called Arumugan. So Shiva's one of the favorite deities of the Hindus. They believe that he protects the entire world from harm. He inspires great faith and devotion in them. And he is Adi Yoga, meaning the first, the primary, the primordial yogi, meaning he knows how to commune with God. That's what yoga means. It means to yoke. It means to bring your attention to your inner world, where you know that this outer world is an illusion, or it's ego driven, or planets are bothering you, karmically driven, and so on. There's something not right with this picture. So we always go inside, and how we go inside is through prayer, through meditation. It's a stream of consciousness that we tap into. We get in a zone. Sometimes we get in naturally. We go into a meditative state when we're working on something that we really love. Whether it's a hobby, an interest, or work itself, a project, you might get immersed in it, where the hours go by, the days go by, the weeks go by, the months go by, and you're just like, whoa, who was I? Because you were having so much fun. You were in joy. You were in bliss. You were working hard, but it didn't matter to you, or it doesn't matter to you. You just love what you do. So that's what being a yogi is all about, is to, wherever you go, there you are. And so you're communing with this universal intelligence that is so great. You can't find the either end of it, the head of it, or the tail of it, or the bottom of it, as Lord Vishnu and Lord Brahma found out. So the Adi Yoga is Lord Shiva, and he wields the power of both creation and destruction. Annamalai Hill is thus regarded as Shiva himself. So this Arunachala, this hill in Tamil Nadu, in southern India, in the place called Tiruvannamalai, it is somewhere where many of Dr. Pillai's students, devotees have gone to, and I've been there many, many times. And most recently, before COVID, I was able to walk around it for 3 days in a row, which it may seem like, oh, you can just go around that, it's 3 or 4 hours. It took my friend and I 3 hours to do each time, but it is a walk that you will remember. It is amazing what happens. It's a transformative walk where you feel the radiations coming from that space, that ground that all the saints and sages, perhaps even Christ or any saints across the cultures, across the traditions, have visited, because it is considered to be not only the center of the earth, spiritually speaking. So it's a pivotal point where the earth is turning around it, and it's energizing this spiritual vortex that continues on, and it radiates out this energy of the 5 sounds that represent earth, water, fire, air, and space, even though it is considered to be the form of Shiva and the element that represents the element of fire. And it is a living fire. So it's a living, breathing. It's not just a temple, not just, it's not a temple or, maybe a statue or a sacred image of this particular god, Lord Shiva. So it is living, it's breathing, and the energy that it's living and breathing is the prana, the life force. And that's what helps us to get out of our ego. If we are edging God out, ego, then who's there? It's the ego is there. But if we bring in the intelligence of Arunachala, which is to burn that energy, that intelligence, which is so limited, and it blocks us from expressing or experiencing our highest selves. So even if you watch there's a live feed, actually, perhaps Radha can be posting the live feed, or maybe Bhairavi is here too, of Arunachala, then you can see what's going on. And so what is going on is, since a long, long time, thousands of years, what's happened is they've brought these big pots or vats of ghee. Ghee is clarified butter. And they bring it to the top of this mountain. And during Kartike Deepam, they burn, have a big fire that goes on, and you can see it for a great distance. So a large amount of ghee is burned, and that represents food for the gods. So Lord Shiva really loves it when he gets to he gets to feel the essence in the mountain, in this form of him being the mountain, and also represents when we raise our Kundalini energy, we're burning off that negativity that we store in our consciousness, in our brain, perhaps in those little dark nooks and crannies of memories in our brain that say you have to suffer, that you must be in poverty, that you will never change your destiny. So there are millions of people who walk around this mountain. And if they walk around this mountain, or like us, we can tune into it. And it's happening during this full moon, which is starting, I believe, tonight at around 2 a.m. in Eastern Standard Time. I'm here in Toronto, Canada. It might be a different time for you. So whatever that time is for you, as it coincides with Kartikeya or Kritika star, nakshatra. So you can find that out on Ashraved or Pillai Center. Or you can Google it and say, what is the timing of Deepam in whatever your country is or your time zone? And you will find out. And what you can do is something very simple that we're going to do momentarily to honor the 5 elements inside of us that represent Lord Shiva and his name. So the sounds are Na, Ma, Shi, Va, Ya, and they represent earth, water, fire, air, and space, or ether, the Akash. We've heard of the Akashic records, where all thoughts of all human beings have ever been thought are stored. And we have past lives that those thoughts are pumping into our brain, and also our ancestors, as Dr. Pillai has shared, our genes think. In fact, it's a great practice to do to honor our ancestors, especially during this vortex of energy, this full moon time, where not only can we push the ego off to the side, we can raise the Kundalini energy, we can feel this enlightenment that's happening, the process of enlightenment that's happening from the inside, and feel uplifted and feel like our karma is getting burned. And when we have this image of the mountain, we can imagine ourselves being this mountain and merging with Lord Shiva's energy and merging even with this image. And when we merge with the image or imagine ourselves to be this mountain, we will be unshakable. Who can move a mountain? You can't, but you can be that consciousness. So earth, water, fire, air, and ether are what is going to, those elements that make up everything inside of your cells, inside of everyone else on the earth plane, and inside of all the universes. So not only is it the pivotal point or the center point for all energy, all spiritual energy to come in, like a vortex of energy. It goes round and round and round. As it funnels this energy, it creates a suction or a vacuum. So it will vacuum in or pull in or draw in the divine energy. It's like an X marks the spot on the earth plane. So not only is it happening on the earth plane, it's happening for all planes of existence. So all universes. That's a pretty big deal that we don't want you to miss. So if you can do a simple technique like I'm going to show you momentarily, and also if you don't have access to ghee, then you can simply light a candle and then chant the mantra throughout the full moon time period. So it's usually about 24 hours, although it might be a little bit more or less, depending on where you are in the world. And this is based on the Vedic astrology, so the Vedic calendar, not the Western astrology. So you want to be looking at the Astraved calendar, the Panchang that is posted to the home page. You just scroll down and you will see the different timings for the full moon. I believe we're still in the 14th moon, which is a really great time to honor Lord Ganesha, who removes the obstacles, and then to honor Lord Shiva, to get ready to honor Lord Shiva during this Deepam. So Deepam, there are so many saints and sages and siddhas who have gone to this place, and their energy is there. So we as spiritual aspirants, we're on a path, we're on a journey with Dr. Pillai, and he just says, hey, listen, if you really want the spiritual experience, you got to let go of your limitations or your ideas that you have to be actually physically there in India. Even if you are there in India, I don't know with COVID if your people are going to be able to walk around as they did before, perhaps in with greater space around them. And it might take longer for people to do the trek. But your life will change forever because it's a karma buster. Just imagine if you're near a fire, you heat up, or you're in the sun, you feel like you're burning, because that's what's happening. So we can get close enough to it by doing the practice. It will take our soul there, will take our consciousness there, and imagine it happening. And Dr. Pillai is really hammering home that idea or that concept that our imagination is what is going to take us to that state of purity. Because look what happened when we were kids. We imagined ourselves to grow up and go to school, go to college maybe, or get a job, or start a business, get a career, get married. We imagined all that. Yeah, sure, it was reinforced by our people around us, the family, the society, and so on. But how did we get to do that? We just imagined ourselves being there and doing that. Or we imagine ourselves in a new job, or we imagine ourselves with having a kid or two. We imagine ourselves having a pet, and then there it is, or a new car, a new home, or a new relationship. Get out of one relationship, get into another. We imagine ourselves healed. So it all begins with an image of what we want to manifest. So this imagination it's going to make it our reality. So people say, how do I change my destiny? Is it just something that I have to have blind faith about? No, be the mountain, be unshakable, and your faith will be a byproduct. It will just be natural for you to experience, whoa, there is a shift happening. There is energy. There is some intelligence, some intel inside myself that is helping me to experience more joy, more happiness, some energy, some heat, some tingling, something that is different than what I experience every day. Perhaps feeling very mechanical or irritated or depressed, or you feel like you're argumentative or you're defensive. That's what's happening in this COVID pandemic, and this lockdown is really keeping people from feeling free. And that's what the spirit is. It wants to move. It wants to be free. It wants to rock us and shake us. And it wants us to experience tapping into realms that are part of this cosmic event that is happening, just like Thanksgiving is happening for our friends in the US. We had it happen a month earlier here in Canada. So there are these vortexes of energy because the consciousness of the people celebrate it. And it happens whether you believe it or not, it is happening. And there are certain customs, certain traditions, prayers, and so on by some people, or maybe people get into other kinds of things that help them to experience gratitude, to be so thankful for everything that we have. So the happiness isn't the end game. It's something that we're going to experience, perhaps doing this simple technique. It's called a mini fire lab. And I'm going to be just moving out of this screenshot or the video. The camera will be moved towards an image of a ghee lamp, and then I'll show you very simple, walk you through a meditative process, so that when you are gazing into this ghee lamp, the flame of the ghee lamp, you may experience some energy coming in. So the sounds are the mantra is going to be Om Namah Shivaya, Swaha. And why we say Swaha is I'm going to be pouring the ghee into the lamp. And that is going to be feeding our highest self. And our highest self are all the divine beings, the sages, the saints, the siddhas, who have committed themselves to anyone on a spiritual path, regardless of their tradition or religion or custom, their ethnicity. Everyone is welcome to participate because it's a spiritual science, and we use our own selves as our experiment. Because if we don't experience the divine within us, that God consciousness that reveals itself, especially during these high spiritual vortices, these cosmic events where we're aligned with the stars, the sun, the moon, the stars, and it's a time for enlightenment, a time for upliftment. In the process, you might feel like you're agitated, but just imagine taking that agitation and throwing it into the flame. So enjoy this journey that we're going to go on. We're going to be, you can chant out loud, you can simply meditate, you can be having your own little mini fire lab happening as well, if you know how to do that. So, and if you don't have to rush around and try and find a candle or try and get a ghee lamp going. You just want to be able to be like the royalty in the old days, where they just sat and enjoyed as the Vedic specialist, the priest, performed on their behalf so that they could rule. So you can be the king or the in that respect, where you're just observing and you're experiencing the energy transmission. So you're going to see an image of Dr. Pillai, much like the one behind me there, in a smaller version. And then you'll see the ghee lamp in front of it. And you may experience a blessing inside, because whatever teaching that Dr. Pillai gives us, he blesses it. And it doesn't matter where we are in the world. We're going to experience that darshan, or spiritual transmission, the activation of our chakras, the activation of the process of enlightenment. So I'm going to be moving over outside of this screenshot, and then I'm going to be quickly setting it up so that you can experience connecting with. I'll also show you, I have a few rocks that are actually from Arunachala. They're supercharged and energized by Dr. Pillai, by Astroved Remedy Centers, the services that were done during these times over the years. So there's a tremendous amount of energy, and hopefully you'll experience a shift. So let's get started. I'm going to just be moving over. All right, so I'm going to be turning the light off, and you'll just be gazing into the lamp. So this is one of the rocks from Arunachala, and it is probably at least 20, if not more, so years that I've had it. And whenever during this time of the year, Kartige Deepam, it's like a touchstone. It feels as if it's connecting to that energy vortex. So hopefully you will experience that as well. And then there are others in this dish. So we have the ghee lamp. And then I'm just going to be chanting the mantra. And you can be chanting it internally or out loud, or just gazing into the image, into the ghee lamp, into the light. And then connecting with Dr. Pillai. We'll call on Ganesha to remove the obstacles for this mini fire lab to be a success, such that you'll want to perhaps implement it into your everyday practice, even if you just do a few offerings at a time. We'll talk about how that can happen after we come back from this meditation. So close your eyes right now. We'll ask Lord Ganesha to remove the obstacles for this mini fire lab to be a success and to connect you to Arunachala, the mountain of fire that will diffuse the karma, the maya, the ego that separate you from your God self, your highest self. And perhaps you may have an experience of enlightenment. It's a process. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha Nirvignam Kuru Kuru. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha Nirvignam Kuru Kuru. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha Nirvignam Kuru Kuru. Now imagine a ray of light shooting up your backbone, piercing all the chakras. We'll activate each chakra with the grace and blessings of Dr. Pillai. We'll call on him. You can either imagine him as a light or the form that you're familiar with. You can open your eyes and reconnect with the picture if you'd like. And then close your eyes again. Bring your attention internally, starting at the base of the spine. Move up to the heart center, middle of the chest. Move up to the throat, clear the throat. Move up to the middle of the brain, the third eye. Float back down to the base of the spine. Connect with the earth element. Na, 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 na. Move up to the navel, in the belly. Fill the abdomen with water. Ma, 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 ma. Move up to the heart center, middle of the chest. Also down the arms and hands and fingers. Set them on fire. She, 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 she. Move up to the throat, the mouth, the nostrils. Connect with the air element or the subtler air, prana. Va, 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 va. Move up to the two eyes, the right and left brain. Connect with the ether, the Akash. Erase the negative karmas stored in the Akash. And bring in the fabulous karmic thoughts into the brain, into the eyes. Ya, 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 ya. Now, slowly, slowly, open your eyes and just have them so the eyelids are relaxed on the eyes. You're gazing, your eyeballs are steady and straight, still as possible. Have unwavering concentration, but not glaring. You're gazing to receive. So gaze into the flame or gaze into Dr. Pillai's picture image. And we'll begin. Om Gam Ganapataye Swaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Swaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Swaha. Pray to Ganesha to remove the obstacles, for you to have steady focus. Feel this, the presence of the Kundalini energy, the fire energy, the goddess energy moving up to the third eye, as if you are ascending up the mountain. Imagine yourself as the mountain, Mount Arunachala. Om Dram Dattatreya Shiva Baba Swaha. Om Dram Dattatreya Shiva Baba Swaha. Om Dram Dattatreya Shiva Baba Swaha. Make a prayer to Dr. Pillai to give you an experience of ascension, of enlightenment, of purification, to change your destiny. If you're destined to be miserable, at least have an experience during this time where you feel joy and bliss and happiness as you're releasing anything that no longer serves you during this power time of Kartige Deepam. We'll call on Saravana Bhava, Lord Muruga's name, to awaken the third eye. Om Saravana Bhavaya Swaha. Om Saravana Bhavaya Swaha. Om Saravana Bhavaya Swaha. Lord Muruga is Ganesha's brother. He also helps you to align your chakras so that you can release anything that is no longer serving you from these psycho-spiritual centers, these energy wheels or lotuses blooming inside of you, opening up the third eye, getting rid of enemies, diseases, debts, litigation, credit card debts, any kind of problems with your health or wellness. Now we'll begin. Focus your attention on your chakras, or focus your attention on your third eye, the spot between your two eyebrows, and also above on the forehead and deep into the midbrain. Focus on the flame. Om Namah Shivaya Swaha. 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 And make a prayer to the flame and the ghee lamp that represents your highest consciousness, because it's you that's having the experience. Pray that all your karmas that are no longer serving you are released from your body, your mind, your soul, from your lineage. The curses, all the suffering, the pain of the body, the mind, the soul gets released and poured into the flame, energetically or intentionally, psychologically. Imagine it being purified. And then experience some upliftment, some enlightenment, some joy or happiness, even if it is a fraction of a second. Make a prayer for whatever it is that you want to manifest. Now that the energy is being diffused, that is no longer serving you, it can be replaced with the consciousness to manifest the comforts that you want, or enlightenment, good physical health, beautiful relationships, a good job or business. Make a prayer to Dr. Pillai for guiding your soul to be here and to have an experience, to use your time and energy in a way that is going to not only uplift you, but uplift others. Collectively, we can pray for the world. Food, clothing, shelter, medicine, education, clean water, joy, happiness, relationships that are loving, unconditionally loving, and God, to get to those people who are stuck in isolation and are really struggling. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Peace to the body, peace to the mind, peace to the soul, peace to the environment, peace to the world. And the process, letting it go. And slowly, slowly come back to yourselves. I'll slide in to the frame in a moment. Hello. So thanks everyone for joining, those of you who need to go. I hope that you had an experience of communing with Dr. Pillai's grace and blessings, honoring the light within you, honoring the grace, the blessings of being on a spiritual path and knowing what to do, when to do, and how to do it. So this is something that you can do simply at home throughout this next 24-hour period. Even afterwards, you can be experiencing the light coming in to your home. If you just want to light a candle and offer some clarified butter, whether you purchase that, it's already made, or whether you make it on your own, you can go online and figure that out, or go to your grocery store in the international aisle and see if it's there. Walmart has it. I'm plugging Walmart. Sometimes, because during COVID, they seem to run out. So maybe more people are praying. That's a good sign. So thanks so much for joining, and have a happy Deepam, a full moon, where you can feel enlightened, connect with all the siddhas, the saints, the sages, of all cultures, all traditions. Again, spiritual people will be attracted to these vortices of energy, and they will know, even if it isn't part of their ethnicity or their culture, their tradition, they will know where to go to get that spiritual transmission and upliftment inside of themselves, so that whenever they go to the next place that they need to go to, they can pour that out into the people there or into the space. So Radha has posted here, Apply Center Practice is Radha posting. You can watch the Deepam through Astroved. You can watch it through the live stream. If you scroll up this chat, you'll see the links there. So you can participate in this do-it-yourself practice, where you are offering just drops of ghee into a ghee lamp or into a candle. And then you can say the sounds, Nama Shivaya or Om. Om is omniscience, omnipotence, and omnipresence. And those are big words. They're big mouthfuls. And so what does it mean? It just means to be present, to be expansive in your knowledge, unlimited, infinite knowledge, and then to be present everywhere. So you are expanding beyond your physical being. You can connect with all realms, and then get that experience of feeling the enlightenment process. So hopefully that is something that you will go check out. There are great articles. The story that I read, everyone, was from Astroved blog. So you can go and read stories about it, or go on to YouTube and read about it. Even just getting that knowledge will help to feed your soul with some spiritual food and quench the thirst of your soul. Our souls are like, hey, just come on, fire me up. Get me into that state of receptivity where I can be something different, even if it is for a moment. I can feel that I am, this world that we live in is a reality, but I don't have to be pulled here and there emotionally and wasting my time and energy, my resources. I can be wherever I am, there I am. And I can be joy, I can be happiness, I can be full of happiness. And it's not an end game or the goal of life at the end. It's to be happy in every moment. In the way that you're feeling the happiness for others or joy for others, their successes, bringing happiness to them. So it's not something that we can hold on to anyways. It's a fleeting experience. But if we had that experience, then we can release it into the world, and just a smile with that happiness or that joy, that divinity that you've experienced at the level of the soul. It's kind of like you got this little hidden secret, and the twinkle in your eye can, make someone's day who is really down and out, and you don't have to speak words. So I'm seeing on the chat, everybody's thanking for this process. And it's so super easy to do. If you have the grace and blessings of Dr. Pillai, you don't have to believe in anything. You don't have to, am I doing it right? Am I, all these doubts, all these questions that we have. It goes beyond all that. When you're on a path with an enlightened being from head to toe, inside, outside, and that's all Dr. Pillai has done for so many lifetimes, and perhaps you have as well, why you're attracted to his teachings, just as I am. I'm always curious, hey, what's going to happen now with these techniques? So even though we think that we know, oh, it's Kartige Deepam, and this is what's supposed to happen, and this is what happened last year at this time, it's a whole other story, because we're living, evolving beings. We're completely having completely different experiences as we go along. We can't possibly be having the same kinds of experiences, just like in life. Just when we think we're doing something and we're going in a direction, whoa, something happens. And we almost feel like we're just like a dust ball in the wind. We're just going here, going there. or a leaf. We just can feel that way, but then is that the reality? So we are what we think about. And if we think about the divine, it doesn't matter if we're being tossed around or in this time, especially during turbulent time. This is a turbulent energy. It's very uncertain. It's highly doubtful what is happening. What's the truth? So it's a great time for people on a spiritual path, including you and I, in that we get to be guided internally to know that that's not right. I'm not going to feel that way. I'm going to choose. So how we manifest is what thoughts we choose. And to take a break from it, we do these spiritual practices. Rituals make you to feel rich. They enrich you. They enliven your body, your mind, your soul. So it seems like people are posting on the chat that they experienced something like that. Lots of gratitude during this Thanksgiving weekend in the US, or whoever celebrates it around the world. Lots of expats around the world. And even though I'm from Canada, I'm always happy to tap into any kind of vortex of energy where people are expressing gratitude for everything that they have, especially during COVID times. So Dr. Pillai's grace and blessings are always with us. They're always with you. And if you have any questions, you can pop them on the chat. I don't see any questions. Radha, who is Pillai Center Practice, and that beautiful yellow banner on the chat, she has been posting links. So if you're just jumping on now, you can scroll up. You definitely can review this recording to see how simple it is to set up a ghee lamp or a candle, and then just put a drop in each time you chant the mantra. Or you can be just watching it and listening to my voice chanting the mantra. Or you can even, if you have an audio of Dr. Pillai's voice chanting Om Namah Shivaya, you can do that and then say Swaha when you're offering into the fire. And even if you don't remember Swaha, you can just be offering Om Namah Shivaya. So do something special to honor your highest self and this consciousness that has no beginning and no end. This is the Shiva, this column of fire that turned into this mountain. And imagine it being this pivotal point for all the universes to revolve around. This is why the earth plane is such a great place to do rituals, because they are coming from the cosmos, and this is where it can materialize. So all the saints, all the siddhas, all the masters, all spiritual yogis, yoginis, you yourself, aspirants, they will just know, oh my goodness, I need to do this particular thing at this time. Their soul will wake up and guide them to tune in to these cosmic events. So that's great. So Radha has also posted that there's going to be an interactive Shreem Brazil Full Moon Fire Lab tomorrow, Sunday, November 29th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the link is there as well for you to join. And one of the Vedic specialists, the priests, one of the Vedic priests, Premaraja, has been a student of Dr. Pillai's for a long time, and he is so superb in his fire labs, where he brings in, you feel the gods and the goddesses coming in, and you actually can see them. So check it out. And if you're part of a Pillai Center Academy course, you may be eligible to use one of your coupons in that course, and then you can get even further discounted price point. We want you to get there, because this is Shreem Brazil, are the sounds, the seed sounds that will unlock prosperity consciousness inside of you. And then collectively we come together and honor the goddess, and you'll see her in the flames and experience that energy inside of you. And then you'll start to attract those things in your life that you always dreamed about, you imagined, but you couldn't ever get it. So that's what these archetypal energies will do. They will point you in the direction. Even if you think I'm going to the left, they'll pull you over to the right or vice versa. So Naveen is saying, I'm seeing from the third eye, Lord Muruga burning my karma, and I'm seeing Lakshmi. Shall I request to bless in abundance? Awesome. Pillai Center Practice, Radha has posted here, Dr. Pillai will be live tomorrow, Sunday, November 29th at 12 p.m. noon Eastern Standard Time. So there is a link to join that, and that's free. So go check them out there. Thank you so much for posting that. Verona is saying here, does Babaji have any plan to give us spiritual names? It would be so great. It's a great question, Verona. And yeah, the rule of thumb is you wouldn't ever ask for a name unless you were with him. And even if you're with him, he might say, come back and ask me later. And then you're trying to find him later if it's at an event and you're chasing it. Chances are he won't give it to you, because it's something. Getting a spiritual name is something that is it's meant to be. So you're destined to get it. And whether you get it from his right from his voice, or you can also receive it from someone he says, okay, go tell that person that's their name. He may ask you to go on to Ashraved. You can get a name change. So lots of people do that. They participate in that service, and then they get to select out of 3 different names, depending on their birth chart and their star energy, their nakshatra. Then you can choose. Either you can choose a Hindu name or an Indian name, and that's a spiritual name, or you can choose to spiritualize your formal name that you use in everyday life. So it might be that they add an extra letter to it, or ask you to go by your middle name versus your first name, or they may ask you to, they may say, you know what, this last name is not good for you. You may consider changing it legally. And a lot of people do, and their whole life changes. So there's a power and an energy and a spiritual energy, even in non-Hindu names. So that's what I wanted to share about that. Okay, so it looks like Bhairavi Judy Angle has said Ashraved has a spiritual name service. Yes. So go check that out. And if you can't find it on Ashraved, I'm not sure if Rod is going to be searching for that link. If you can't, then send an email to support@astraved.com and then ask them. The customer service people there will then provide you with the link. So many people have done it and through Ashraved, and then they just happen to meet Dr. Pillai over the years, and he will say, do I know you? And the person will say, no, but I have participated. He will say, what's your name? And then they'll tell him, and he'll say, hey, how did you get that name? And then they will say, I got it through Ashraved. And he'll say, oh, what was the other choices? And then he'll say, no, that's the name. You picked the right name. So the spiritual master is beyond physical proximity. He is guiding you internally, and at the soul level, you will be pinged and you will know, oh, I'm intuitively, I'm drawn to this name and I feel so good about it. So that's what you can do. Shashmita is saying, I look at others' perspectives and I end up losing money or self-respect. Yeah, so what we want to do is change that destiny. So if you know what your mistakes are, nobody has to tell you what your mistakes are. You know what they are. How do you shift it? Maybe you might look into getting an astrology consultation and find out, or naughty astrology. You'll find out, oh my goodness, you keep doing the same pattern over and over again. So you need to take care, as opposed to feeling like a victim or blaming others for your plight in life. And we all do it. And even as we evolve, oh my God, we do it even more. We're so darn righteous. So we can just, eventually you'll be just laughing at it all, in the sense that it's just like, wow, I waste so much energy on feeling sorry for myself, or not able to find a way out. Well, maybe you've stumbled across Dr. Pillai's teaching, because he's not going to ever change your life for you. He's not going to ever convince you to do anything. He will show you the way. That's what a guru does. They just dispel the darkness so you can see the light, and then the light will light up your path. And here we are at Pillai Center. We're here to support and help you, because we've used these tools and technologies over decades. And then we've shared it with other people who have also used it and continue to use the teachings, the services, and their life changes. And not only their life changes, their families' life changes. And their family is not on the same path. So it's tremendous amount of intelligence. And once our karma gets cleaned up, then we start to see that those patterns are breaking up. We won't find ourselves in those situations. Those people who we thought it was their fault or thought it was their problem or they were putting on to us, really it was just the karmic connection got disconnected. The people may still be there, but you're not being triggered by it, and you're not going to be losing out. So please check that out. Maybe look into getting an astrology consultation. We have beautiful teachers here at Pillai Center who are also astrologers, Vedic astrologers, with the grace and blessings of Dr. Pillai through Ashravet. So you can maybe check those astrologers out. Swamini Vali is one, vali@pillaicenter.com. And also Lalita Varahi, she's also a Vedic astrologer and longtime student and devotees of Dr. Pillai. So they are yoginis, and they understand that the stars are all about the sun, the moon, the stars. It's about astrology's Jyotish. It means throwing light on your life. You come and you see that, oh, wow, this is the problem area. I already know what my problems are. This is what may be causing it. So they can give you some guidance. That's the main thing, is we want to get a remedy or a ritual to do, or a mantra practice to protect our mind from getting into those situations again and again and again. So that's why we're not just groping in the dark, or, coming to Pillai Center or Ashravet and then, oh my God, I have to participate in this. I don't know why, but I just do. And we're kind of just, wiggling around. It's kind of like going to a shopping mall and you're like, okay, I know that there are these kinds of shoes that I want to buy, but I don't know which store has the best deal, or I don't know if they have my size. And you kind of like waste so much time. So an astrologer is like that, where they will say, hey, try these shoes, they'll fit. And they will, and because it's so customized and personalized, it's all about you. And so you can look into it and then see how to find a way out of your situation. Again, a teacher or a spiritual master is not going to do it for you. They're just going to show you the way. You do it or not. And then after some time, you will just be like, wow, why did I wait so long? So, and participating in these free services, we've since COVID, we've had a lot of free services. So if you're new to Pillai Center, to Ashravet, and especially to Powertime practice, we'll be guiding you on what we're going to be doing in the coming month. So this past month, we had 20 days of chanting. You could join at YouTube, and all those recordings are there too. So Pillai Center practice, YouTube has some teachings on Lord Muruga. So if you hear us saying some names, then you just can go to the free teachings at Pillai Center practice or in Pillai Center, and you'll see Dr. Pillai's YouTube's there as well. So there's a lot of free services, a lot of free teachings. So don't feel like, oh my God, I can't afford it, because God only knows what you can and cannot afford to do at any given point in time. So we want to make sure that at least you'll have some teachings, something to uplift your yourselves, your family, bring in some new energy into your life during this COVID lockdown time where we feel like we have no freedom. And the spirit is free. It wants to move freely through us. So you can check that out and, educate yourself. And then we also have so many Facebook groups where you can join, check out Facebook for Pillai Center Facebook, and then you'll find other people are in different courses and different programs. So you can join a community that can be supportive and give you reprieve from the conversations that we have every day with perhaps our family members who are not on a spiritual path, or maybe they are, and we have differences of opinions and so on. Imagine that, being spiritual and having a difference of opinion. Like I said, it's worse as we go along. You can see right away, oh, there I am. That ego kicks in and it's edging God out. It's such a perfect acronym for it. So we want to keep marginalizing our ego. So pushing it over to the margins, pushing it to the sidelines, and being centered and being joyful and happy and uplifted. So with lots of free services and support coming from Pillai Center, and we're so happy that you're here, because it's always a joy when we experience the miracles that happen to people, especially during these tough times that we live in. So it looks like we've come to a close. Faraz is saying here, hi Sucharita, in 2014, I had driven a home construction worker to Arunachala. I was agnostic then. So agnostic for those people whose first language is not English. Agnostic is you don't have any belief in any God or any supernatural being. You just are there, maybe groping, going after the money, or going after business, or going after whatever is happening. So for us, as saying, I was agnostic back then. I didn't believe in God. Although I didn't walk around the mountain, the divine had its way and awakened the spiritual flame from within. I got the blessings of Dr. Pillai as my guru. So out of that Arunachala experience, if you're drawn in Arunachala kicking and screaming, no, I don't believe in God, you'll get enlightened anyways. So, and for us is just an amazing spiritual aspirant who has inspired so many of us in his journey, his shared experiences. So he says, whenever it becomes normal to visit, I shall walk around Arunachala. My soul is calling for it. Absolutely. And so again, we may not necessarily be able to do that physically. We can't even get there. Or even if we are in India, we don't even know if we would be able to get close to the mountain. So we can imagine it, put it in our imagination. We also have technology where the cameras are set up to video or live stream it online. So Radha has popped that onto the chat as well. You can scroll up and find that link, and you can watch the Deepam being lit. So Deepam is the light, the ghee light. That is a big, huge fire, and vats of ghee get poured onto it. I think it's over like a 10-day period, but it's really intensive right now in this full moon time period. So a lot of blessings come regardless, just like with Faraz, he didn't believe in anything, but he got a lot of blessings. So, and then his soul got kindled, that fire got kindled from within. And now it's calling you. So maybe Faraz, I'll see you there. We'll walk around together. So Verona says, I recently discovered Dr. Pillai. I remembered him as Shiva Baba many years ago. On Ashrabat, I bought his book and CD, Mala Lingam, so much. I've recently joined a handful of Facebook groups. So happy to rediscover him, Dr. Pillai. Awesome. That's great. And welcome back. So people come and go, and that's okay. Dr. Pillai says the door goes both ways. You want to go, go. If you want to come back, come back. And that's an enlightened master isn't going to be, you must do it this way. He always says no hard or fast rules. You just come together with your heart and soul, and you come with all your problems and throw them into the fire, throw them into the spiritual practice, because it's beyond the mind what this technology is. So the more people who will participate, even in these free services, or you can sponsor. Can you imagine the amount of money it would take to put these big, huge vats of get up the mountain and keep pouring it on this big, huge fire on top of a mountain? and do it for 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours, at times, 10 days. So that's a lot. And unfortunately or fortunately, it does require some sponsorship, because whatever we put towards, it's like tithing. It's a divine law, and most of us don't realize the importance of tithing, participating in spiritual services that are uplifting humanity. It's not because priests want to do it for fun. This is part of their dharma. It's part of the world's dharma. It's kind of fun, and to be on this adventure with Dr. Pillai, where we think, oh, I just poured some ghee into a lamp. Wonder what that's going to do. But look at all these people who came, attended, and you experienced something, and then it uplifted you. And then because you're uplifted, then you're going to be someone different in your life. That's how the destiny changes. It can be a big aha, or epiphany like, or it can be just you're always steady. You're neutral. You're not being triggered by anything, and you're inspiring others to be like that, because otherwise, people are walking around numb or dead in their soul, like I was before I met Dr. Pillai. Although I knew I was very spiritual, I couldn't find. I didn't even know I was looking, but it just didn't seem. Everywhere I turned in life, I was like, what? That's not true, or that's not really the truth. And what is the truth? And what the heck am I doing? There's something wrong with this picture. So there was all these big question marks. And I'm sure that you have your own experiences in your journey that you're on. And just like for us saying, I didn't believe in God, I was agnostic, but I just took somebody there anyways. And then ends up being so immersed in Dr. Pillai's teachings, and it's awakening his soul to be able to handle all the challenges of the life. And that's what we want to do, is we want to be able to navigate life with grace and ease, no matter what it throws at us, because it's gonna throw it at us. And it doesn't matter how evolved you are. In fact, when you are evolved, you have more to be responsible for. You respond to the pain and suffering of the whole world. And that is, whoa, that can be intense. So the third eye, people say, hey, Dr. Pillai, can you open my third eye? He says, yeah, I can. You ready for it? And so he gives them a little bit of a taste of it. It's like, no, shut it. So we want to do things as we go along. We're prepared. He knows what we can handle and manage on our spiritual path. So we become unshakable. It can just be anything in life that happens to us is a spiritual practice. We're spiritual beings. We just forgot, and we got covered up with a bunch of human experiences. And so it's okay to have human experiences, but have them with God consciousness in mind, and rituals make you rich. Just keep that in mind. So, all right. I don't see any more questions or shared experiences. We have been here for about an hour and a half. So maybe we will wrap it up. And thanks so much for joining. We'll see you tomorrow with Dr. Pillai, free. So check out the chat and scroll up to when Dr. Pillai is going to be doing a free live stream, YouTube, Facebook, I believe it will be as well. Since you're here on YouTube, check it out. And then give us a thumbs up and subscribe. I'm getting used to saying that now. I've seen so many YouTubes where they say, give us a thumbs up if you like it, and then also hit the bell, subscribe, so that then you can receive the alerts for when Dr. Pillai is going to be doing something live, and it's free. So there are a lot of paid services, but then you don't want to miss these free ones. And even if you do participate in sponsoring the services and courses and so on, you can also participate in the free ones. You don't want to miss it. So thank you so much. Thank you, Radha, Bhairavi, and everybody here for us, for sharing, everybody who is so inspiring and continues to go on this journey with Dr. Pillai, awakening the body, the mind, the soul, preparing us for the golden age. It's right here. We've got to be prepared, align with it. So God bless you all. Happy Deepam, happy Kartige Deepam, happy full moon, happy abundance, blessings from Dr. Pillai to all. Namaste.